Welcome, readers. On this installment of Book Chat, joining me are my 3 book bloggers, 1 series read along co host, Casey and Nicola. We're discussing Ruin and Rising, the third and final book in the Grisha Trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, I am your host, Tamara Ford, and welcome to Book Chat here on the Shelf Addiction Podcast. Join in this book discussion by finding me on Twitter as well as my book blogger co-host. Tweet at us using our special hashtag 3bloggers1series. That's using the numeric 3 and 1. Again, that's hashtag 3bloggers1series. If Twitter isn't your thing, no worries. You can join us on the Facebook group, Shelf Addiction Official, and talk about the series with us there. I hope to hear your thoughts on this book discussion. The links for everything I've mentioned are below in the show notes. But before we jump into this conversation, I have a quick note. I want you to get the full enjoyment out of this conversation, so I recommend that you read the book first. This is a roundtable book discussion, so of course, spoiler alert. You've been warned. Hey everybody, welcome back to another 3 book bloggers, 1 series read along discussion, and we are finishing out this trilogy with Ruin and Rising, and as always joining me are my read along co-hosts and friends, Casey and Nicola. Ladies, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves? Casey, you go first.
Hey everybody, I'm Casey. I've been a book reviewer with Literary Escapism forever. It's been 8 years now. And I'm also an editor at Heart Full of Ink. So if you need anything edited, hit me up.
Yes.
Yes. Shameless plugs.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'm Nicola. I review at alphaheroes.net. I've been doing that since 2007, and I've done a few other things in between, but for the moment, that's where you'll find me, and I just am looking forward to the third book in this trilogy and talking about it with Casey and Tamara.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay, let's jump into it, guys. Okay, because right before we hit record, we just got finished talking about when we read this book. So I think, Casey, you finished last, which was, 5 minutes ago, you said?
5 minutes ago, yes.
Yeah, and then I'm next. I finished about 7 or 8 minutes ago. And Nicola is the winner because she finished
A couple of days ago.
So you've had time to sit and digest and think about the story.
Yeah, but you guys are have an instant reaction. You know exactly what this is the gut reaction, right?
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes it changes after I sit on it for a while, but sometimes it doesn't. And I think this might be one of those times it's okay. It's okay with my instant reaction. So
what is your instant reaction?
I was like, meh. That was the end. Okay. I buy it. Sure. That was my reaction.
I was a little underwhelmed with the finale here. Casey?
Okay, so when she stabbed him in the heart, I actually
Let's start right with it. Oh my god.
Jump in.
I could not believe she did that. No.
I was not prepared for that. I actually sat up and went, what the fuck? And I kept reading.
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, you have to save him. You have to save him. He's dead, but you have to save him. I was like, can they? I didn't think anybody but the saint could bring anybody back to life. And then they brought him back to life. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, they have
we're all good now.
right? They have the magic people that can do things with healing.
Magically. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
but none of them were available. The ones that were doing
the
it.
big guy.
Yeah.
Tolia can do that.
Okay. Well.
He can slow heartbeats. That's what his magical power was, right?
No, he has that's what he does when he's fighting is to crush people's hearts, but no, I think they have the full range. That's what he was healing. He healed the kid's arm.
Yeah.
So that's one of the categories.
But I kind of remember them saying they didn't know if they could do it.
Yeah.
So early on, yes. So Tolia is like this big giant guy, right? And
Uh-huh.
he fights traditionally more, and he and his sister are from a region where they burn Grisha, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think they grew up learning their powers, but over the course of the 3 books, they definitely used it in fights. And I don't know about so much healing. I think they did healing in this book, but I don't know about I don't remember the other ones. So, but they definitely did healing in this book.
Didn't they also kind of tie that back to like the whole power or borrowing of power or something as to how come maybe he was able to come back? Like it really, I can't remember exactly how she worded it at the end there when it kind of explained,
It was like he had 2 lives, and the life was that of the saint's daughter.
Yeah, maybe.
The Darkling's aunt.
Because she burned out her own power.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
That's weird.
I don't know.
I was shocked when that happened, and I'm not sure I liked it, but it served the story, I guess. I'm not sure that he should have been brought back, to be honest.
I agree.
No.
Make it count. I feel like that shock that Casey originally felt when she did it, you lose that when you bring him back. I feel like it's better to just let her learn to live without him,
Or she goes too, like Romeo and Juliet, because she burned out all her powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was not expecting them to actually do it, and then they did it, and then they brought him back immediately, and I was angry because you lose that shock.
Yeah, and then
you lose that powerful moment of he's dead, he's gone, she had to stab him in the heart.
Yeah.
And then she lost all her powers in that moment too, and
but they all lived happily ever after, and that's what counts.
I gotta say, I did love that epilogue. That's one of like the best warm fuzzy happy ever after chapters I've read.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I think there was one part I was like, "Oh, that's cute," and I'm like, "Okay."
Like it went on a little long for you.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't expect a happily ever after in this situation, but I mean, it was a little nice, and I remember just thinking that as to something that happened. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool. I'm okay with it. And actually, they did. The author, she said that Nikolai was known as the what king, the something king,
the
or
Scarred King,
the Scarred King. And actually, that's a book coming out in January. She's doing a duology about Nikolai.
Ooh, I want to read that.
I like because
I love him. He was one of my favorite characters.
I did like him. I felt bad for him so many times during this book. I'm like, oh.
I know.
Yeah, he really had. He really got the worst of it, I think. The possession or whatever.
Oh God, that was horrible.
Oh God, yeah. But I want to know. She was leaning over him in that moment, watching the darkness take him, and she didn't try to do anything. She just cried over him. I was like, why aren't you putting light into his body? Why aren't you trying to stop this?
You can try that later. I think
after he made her. He made her.
He made her. Yeah, he was like, you have to do it, and put his.
I think she just had no idea what to do. It didn't occur to her to do it.
She didn't even try though.
She didn't.
She just kind of stood there and cried.
Yeah, I think
Helena did that a lot. This book, she just stood there and cried a lot.
Yeah, so that scene was really, really pivotal when she killed Mal. But it was the lead up to that. I felt like the beginning of the book was slow. Maybe it's me.
Very slow.
No, it was slow.
Okay, so for new listeners, I've got some health challenges, and so some days I'm just not in the best of mood. And this was one that I had to really plug through to get through the first third or so. And they just kept losing. Like, that was really hard for me to there was so little hope in the first part of this book. Just the Darkling kept devastating them over and over again. And I was just like, and when they got to the scene where they took out the mountaintop stronghold, I was just like, oh my God, again, now they're going to go fight this army with like 8 people. You know? And
it was pretty bleak.
And
it was very bleak.
Yeah, so I really had trouble with that. So.
I didn't, but I feel like I had, well, I agree with you, the beginning was slow, and I was really close to skimming, but I said, no, I'm not going to do that because I could miss something important. But there was a lot of like relationship stuff going on. I'm like, oh God, are they like, is everyone coupling up now? I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, they got these touchy-feely things. I'm like, okay. It was just a lot of that to me early on before things started getting, going. And I'm just like, I could have not had that and been okay with it, I think. But
yeah.
Honestly, I felt like that should have been book 2, and then book 3 should have been more action-y. That makes sense.
Some battles.
Because this was just a lot of like, all right, we're gonna hook up now, and oh no, the Darkling's here and we're dying. Okay, so now we're gonna hook up again, and we're gonna cry a bit because we keep losing everybody. But oh no, he's back again, so we have to cry and fight and die.
Yeah, and Mal with his, oh, don't talk to me, don't touch me, oh, I can't deal with it. I'm like, oh, shut up. Like, okay, we understand. You feel guilty that you felt like you didn't help her the way you should have, and you feel you can't be with her and help her as well. But my goodness, stop whining like a baby. I just
Thank you.
It's like a martyr. Nobody loves
No.
That time she touches the scar, the time she touches the tattoo or whatever on his back, he's like, oh, don't touch me. Oh, I can't. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they structured it around the 3 amplifiers, so that made sense. But I just felt like it just felt slow. I can't tell you what they should have done differently. It just felt slow. Casey's the one that's good at that. Slow. Here's how you should have done it. Let me fix it. I'm just like, I don't know. I just didn't like it this way. So.
Yeah, it was slow.
Yeah.
And she tried to balance out relationships with fighting, and it just didn't really work here.
It could have, for me, I just wanted them to win a little bit of ground at some point. But they started out with this huge defeat where they were forced underground, and the apparat like kept them underground against their will, which was weird. And
for months.
Which was weird. And, so they had to fight their way out of the caves, and then they had to fight their way to the mountain, I guess they flew to the mountain, right? But they just, every time they fought, they lost until that big one at the end. I just wanted them to gain a little bit of ground, a little bit of hope somewhere along the way, because otherwise the story doesn't like have peaks and valleys. It just has this big valley,
Yeah, that's probably true. Yes. Honestly, there's nothing that I was excited about the entire time I was reading the book.
That's what I'm saying. Like the peaks and valleys there were none. Even on the relationship side, it was all like, oh, we have to sacrifice our personal happiness because she's going to be a queen and he's just a peasant. And
yeah, which is why all the secondary characters got to go around kissing each other, but that was it.
And that wasn't.
And then somebody would die.
I'm not going to call that a peak. Sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't.
No, it
wasn't.
It all felt like desperation. It didn't feel like hope to me. It felt like desperation.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Maybe it was supposed to. But
I guess that's all they had good going on, was to try to hook up and find partners, I guess. Let's look for the bright light, I guess, and that's it.
And there's some diversity there, too, for people who are looking for that. There were some same-sex couples happening there. So I know some people are looking for that specifically. So there wasn't a lot on the page. It wasn't like a fully fledged love story, but just kind of happening in the background.
I'd have to say, if I don't know what I want to call it. I'd call her maybe a sleeper character, like one that kind of sneaks up on you and you're like, oh, I kind of like her. That's Zoya. I mean, she's
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
sassy. I'm like, the whole time you're just ready to hate her guts. And then it's like, oh, I kind of like her, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I called it a little bit in the first book, if you remember. I'm like, she's gonna be around. She's gonna. I don't know that she had
Mm-hmm.
like. I don't know. She could have been. She's a good foil, I think, because Alina is so close to Mary Sue kind of character.
Yep.
I think Zoya is a good foil for that. She says what's on her mind. She says stuff that's kind of mean, and as they get to be more friends, you realize she doesn't really mean it, but she uses that to kind of snap people out of their navel gazing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you. I like Zoya a lot. She'd make a great novella. I'd like to see her find happiness with somebody.
Yeah, she
She tore
kind of
off at the
helped
end.
the blandness of some of the stuff.
Yes.
Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did
So,
she end up partnered in this? I can't remember.
No, I think she was
no.
the only one alone.
Okay.
And she said that the cat had a greater chance than somebody else, and everybody laughed.
So maybe she gets with
Yeah.
Nikolai in the duology. She'd make
Maybe.
an awesome queen.
She
I
would.
wouldn't hate it because he's witty, she's witty. They'd have a great dynamic sparring
Oh
with each
yeah,
other.
They would. They would.
much better than Nikolai and Alina.
Unless they killed
That's
each
for
other
sure.
first. Yeah. And
Yeah, and I thought Nikolai was so cute, but I'm like, Alina, you're so boring. Get out of here. Like, you just didn't. I mean, I don't know.
no, I didn't think she was
Get
that
out.
bad, but I did. Nikolai was a
He was
great
boring.
like comic relief character, and then to have sort of that tragedy happen to him. That's a great backstory for a king. I'm really looking for. I'm going to read that book for sure.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
bastard
Yeah.
king who has spent some time as a thing.
As a pirate, and
Yes, he's a pirate. He's got a lot going
he
on.
does.
But he's very witty and he's very smart. He's like really about tactical things. I mean, he
Mhm.
knows how to think.
He's good.
I
with
mean, there's so
people.
many good things about him, you know.
Yeah, he kind of stole the show a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Did, away from Mal, I think. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
even though I know I remember you guys saying, or maybe it was you, Nicola, that maybe I would like Mal later as he kind of
Yeah.
grew up and grew into. And by the end of it, I guess I did like him more, but
But not that much.
but not that much. Not that much. Yes. I'm like, I don't know. I just was expecting this whole, oh, the wool was taken off my eyes. And I'm like, oh, Mal, he's perfect for Elena. I'm not sure I feel that
No.
way, even though they ended up together.
I mean, there's no way she would have ended up with anybody else because she was so stuck on him. But that
Unless
doesn't
she
mean I
killed
had to
him.
like him.
Yeah.
Like if the
She
killing,
did kill him,
if
and
the
then
killing had
she
stuck, then she could have ended
Yeah.
up with Nikolai. But yeah,
She would have gone off to be a spinster. She would
Honestly,
have.
I would have enjoyed it and appreciated it more. I would have appreciated all the things she went through if she was left alone at the end.
Yeah.
honest, I
That
gotta
was kind of
say
her
it would
biggest.
probably be a better story, but I don't know that I would have really liked that because I like my happily ever afters.
Oh, I
No, I
love
don't care
Happily
about
Ever
that.
Afters. Love
I don't
them.
care about that. Because the only reason I say I don't care about that is because I know there are other spin-offs from this world.
Yeah.
So if you're going to continue in this world, there's other opportunities for her to meet a new love and to have a mention of her.
So she'd be
And
the
I
new
feel like,
Bagra,
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
she could
the old
be.
woman in the hut.
Yeah. I mean, or that, yeah.
Speaking
She
of
didn't
which,
have a great love.
let's talk about the Bagra scene a minute. So she goes off the cliff and she's doing what? She's trying to take away the shadow monsters with her that have a name that I
Mhm.
can't pronounce.
She's trying to control them, yeah. Take
It
them with
doesn't
her.
seem like she succeeded, right? She just went off the
No.
cliff and there was sort of a pause in the attack, but they still like lost really bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that bought them. I think they are alive because she did that, because that was kind of a distraction
Okay.
for the Darkling. Because he's like, oh my God, he didn't want his mother to kill herself, but
So I felt like that was a little bit, I don't know. I guess I expected, so that was the first thing that happened. I expected that Bagra and the Darkling were going to be harder to kill. I was a little bit
Mm-hmm.
surprised when she just killed him with a knife. I'm like, if you
Yes.
can die like
Yes.
that, how do you live 1,000 years and nobody like sneaks up behind you and
but
knifes you to
wasn't
death?
he human at that point? Wasn't he human again? Like, wasn't his power gone when she stabbed him?
I
How would it
don't
be gone?
know. I don't think so. Because her powers were gone.
Right, but
But
they're
it
one
didn't
of
say
the
anything about
same.
his
I
powers.
didn't think his powers were gone. I didn't get
See,
that.
I did. I don't know why I thought that. I just thought maybe because the way they were connected, if one happens like yin and yang kind of thing.
Hmm. Maybe I'll have to skim that scene again, but I didn't get that at all. I mean, his monsters were still going, and
Everybody was still there.
Yeah,
Everybody was still going. It was just,
I don't
he was
know.
like surprised that she killed him. He's like, what's going on? And then she stabs him. He's like, what? This is how I die? And I was like, what? This is how you die?
I know,
Just
agreed.
Yes,
a knife to the heart and you've lived thousands of years? What?
yeah,
Yeah, that seemed weird
and
to
of
me.
course, she had him say his name one more time.
Alexander.
Then he died.
Oh, yeah, she had to cry over him,
Yeah,
say his name, because he was just a lost little boy who's like 3,000 years old. I don't
And
know.
evil.
They're old. But
Right.
same with his mom. How did she just live forever and then throw herself off a cliff and die?
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I brought them up
Yeah.
together. It's kind of connected. Like I expected them to need more magical intervention to be killed, I guess.
the sad part is they had no more magical anything to offer to try to kill them. That's probably the problem. Like, they were already beat down already. What could they pull up to just be like, oh, we got this extra oomph over here, this power or whatever to
They
take
could
him
have fought
out?
each other. Like, I expected a big battle between mother and son, while she was
That
trying to
would have
get
been
everybody to run
interesting.
away instead of falling off a cliff. Like, a battle for the shadows.
Yeah.
And distracting him. Like, that's what I expected, not her to just topple over.
That would have been interesting, honestly, to see who would win. I mean, he probably would win, but it
Yeah,
would have been cool to see her, knock her son down a couple notches.
exactly. And it would have distracted him, hurt his army,
Yeah.
let everybody run away. And then if he actually had to kill his mother, I don't know if he could have.
Well, I mean, he didn't kill her before,
Yeah,
although
like
he
he
did,
tortured her
abuse her.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put
So
out
he's
her
it's
eyes.
not nice, but that's what I
Mm.
wanted.
Yeah, he's a piece of work, all right. The whole thing with what he did at the orphanage, and killed all
Oh
the people,
God.
hung him from the tree. That was
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
that was pretty.
Oof.
Yeah, it was.
So
That was like some Vlad the Impaler type stuff. Like, let's just hang people's heads and,
yeah. That scene really got to me, where he just said, "I'm going to come for everybody you've ever cared for," and just like, man.
Mm-hmm.
Which, doesn't that kind of annoy you that Elena still thought of him like
Yeah, with
in
had a
that
tender thought
sympathetic
for him.
way?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like, you guys are not the same, not even close. Like, I don't understand how you can relate to him at all. He's a psychopath,
Right.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. I think.
I mean, the whole visiting him and stuff, and like that scene where he's all trying to, get in her metaphysic. What's the word I'm looking for? Her, you know what I'm saying? Her fake pants.
Yeah.
It's not real, but let's get it on. And then he gets all pissy when she says no. I'm like, oh, I can't stand this. It's so icky and just gross. And it's like, why?
Well,
Why?
An ambiguous villain is more interesting than a 100% evil, black-hearted villain. And I think the author was probably trying to mix a little bit of that. There's good and bad in everybody, but then like there was a point where I didn't see any good left in him. You know, when he
Yeah,
tortured
there
his
really
mother,
wasn't.
and when he hung the old woman and the trainer in the tree. Like, you know, I think
Yeah.
this guy's done. He's not got no humanity left.
She tried to show his ambiguity through Alina's eyes by saying, "Oh, we're the same. Oh, we're so powerful. Oh,
Right.
I'm drawn to you," and why she kept going back. But it was only Alina who saw and felt that.
Yes.
There was nothing
Yeah.
actually in him or that he was doing that proved that or followed her train of thoughts there. Like it was
Agreed.
just,
Yeah.
Well, I think she
oh,
was,
we're the
yeah,
same.
and she was scared about it. I mean, she did have an immense amount of power, so she was, I think, scared of becoming like him. I don't know that she thought she was like him, but I think she was scared of becoming that way.
Well, she thought she was powerful, like she could be as powerful like him, especially the idea of living a long
Right.
life
Because what does that
and
do to
stuff
you
like
over
that.
time? And you know, she had, after
Right.
they did that crazy power merge thing in book 2, she could like had a little bit of control over the shadows. I actually liked the almost climax and scene in the book 2 better, I think, where they kind
Yeah.
of swirled together and took him by surprise, and she almost burned them both out. I think that if you didn't want a happy ending, that would have been a good way to go.
Mm-hmm.
I know I missed our last chat because I was sick, but that ending, since you brought it up, why the hell didn't she just cut him right then and there? She had her hands on his neck. She was against his chest.
Because she needed to think
Why
of the
didn't
third
you just
book.
cut him down right there?
Because it was a 3-book contract.
You know what? These kind of things bug me so bad. Like I always ask those things when it comes like to TV shows and stuff, and it's like it's in the script. It's because they need more. It makes no sense at
It's like
all, but it's because they need to use that for later. Like we need more, so we can't do
if you
it.
ever watch a movie with my father and there's a car chase, they're shooting guns. They're always shooting guns during the car chase. My dad has the same phrase. Why don't they just shoot out the tires? All they need to do is shoot out the tires, and this would be over. I don't understand why they don't shoot out the tires. And he'll say that for like the entire length of the car chase.
And it's in the script.
Why didn't you do the cut? She could just do the cut right there, and this would all be over.
Right? Like, her fingers were on his neck, and I was like, just decapitate him right now. You have the power. You're right there.
She didn't have the ruthlessness.
Ugh. She was trying to kill him.
Yeah.
She just wanted to pull him apart piece by piece. That sounds more ruthless.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
3-book contract.
Well, I don't know. I can't because I just, oh my gosh.
What did you guys think about the quest for the Firebird?
A waste of time. Yeah. That's what I felt. I'm like, it was space. I didn't love it. It was kind of boring. That was another part where I wanted to like just skim, but until they actually found the thing, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I'm like, oh wait, it's not interesting. It's not the thing at all. You know.
It was.
Did you guess that Mal was going to be the amplifier?
I didn't, but at first it didn't make any sense to me. And I'm like, oh, I guess they did explain it, but it seemed like a very convoluted and long-winded explanation.
Yes. That whole, about the backstory on Molotov or whatever his name was. And how it was going to be the Firebird, but then it wasn't. It was his dead, resurrected daughter who might have been Mal's ancestor, and so Mal is the I mean, there was a hint in book 2, I think, when he put his hands around her bare wrist, and they felt a surge. But
well, she did say they didn't find the stag until they kissed.
Yep.
And the serpent in book 2 didn't. Yeah, she was in his arms when that popped up.
Yeah.
So I kind of get it, but it just felt so like, oh, we just need to wrap this up quickly. And yes, Mal's important, but we'll just say he's the amplifier.
I feel like this was a pantsed plot element. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
like it was supposed to be the Firebird, but somehow it had to be Mal. I don't know. I was hoping that she'd find a way to use the last amplifier without killing the host or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah. Well, probably she thought I need something dramatic to happen in that scene where, Miles like helping Alina kill him. She needed that scene. So then she was like, well, how do I get to a point where she can kill him? Okay, well, now he needs to be the amplifier. So how do I make that happen? We're going to throw it in there.
yeah, or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It like was backwards. It felt that way. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that didn't really ring true all the way, but okay, I'll roll with it because it's, in the book.
Yeah, I thought the whole thing about the lost sister was fuzzy. You know, like, well, she
Yeah.
might have had a lot of kids, and there might be a lot of these
Amplifiers.
semi-enhanced descendants running around, and you know,
See, I thought it was more interesting when we started sorting that out, and then Elena was like, that's my cousin. That could be my cousin," and she was freaking out because she kissed him and did a little more things with him, and then to find out it wasn't her cousin, but it's Val's
No.
relation. I was like, "Oh God, boo!"
Yeah. I thought we were going to learn more about their past because they kept bringing up like those three things she saw, the beats and the shoulders and like the cart. I think that's
Yep.
what it was.
Yep.
They kept bringing that up and bringing that up. And I was like, all right, are we going to have a flashback? Are we going to see that? Is this important? And it turned out to be nothing at all.
Well, there were such small little things. I think that the point of those recurrences is just that she couldn't remember anything that was going to help her, right? How does a bowl of beets help?
And you say it once or twice. I felt like it was said repeat like way more than that. It could just be me, but I was like, you've said this way too many times. This is either important or you need to start cutting it down. You don't repeat yourself unless it's important and you want the readers to know and remember that and be like, oh, yes, the beats. That was important.
It's so you realize that it's fake Russia. It's alternate Russia. That's what it's. I
don't know. I don't know. It was just.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah,
so let me ask you guys this. Are you outside of Nikolai's duology that's coming out? Do you have plans to read the other books in this universe?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, I'm not
I like the secondary characters. I'm definitely going to read Nikolai's his books. But I don't know. I'm not like rushing to go get them right now. If there's anything else with Elena, I might skip it.
I'm ready for a break from the Grishaverse.
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah.
While I do like Nikolai, I'm not sure I'm going to read them. I'm not sure. I'm not sure because it's just so.
Because he's good. But everything else.
It's so young. It's like, I wish it felt older. And I mean, I hate to just say this because I said it during our last recording, Casey, you missed that. But I've been reading the Throne of Glass series, and it feels so much older. It feels more genuine. It feels like there's some big consequences for what's going on. And I feel like it's kind of just light here. It's fantasy light for YA, and I just don't like that feeling. And as long as I feel like Nikolai's story is going to be more of the same, so there may be something big going on, but in the end, it's just going to be a happily ever after that I'm not going to care about. So I know it sounded harsh, but that's kind of how I
grow up a bit and be darker, like maybe. Especially after this. Because
I don't know. I don't want to assume that.
Fingers crossed. But I had a similar thought while reading this, that I just thought, where are all the adults? Because all these guys are like 16, 17. There's that like 13 or 14-year-old boy who lost his arm, but he's also a soldier.
He was 12.
And
yeah. He was too
all the
young.
adults are really, really old. And then it's all these 16-year-olds going around saving the world. I was like,
God, it's like Twilight.
Where's everybody else?
The 600-year-old dude that looks 20 and the 18-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If she's 18.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was 16 or 17.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, it's all just a bunch of kids and there are no adults around
Yeah.
anywhere. They banish the king and queen.
I liked
Um,
that scene.
but oh
FYI.
yeah, that was a good
Yeah.
scene. That was a really
Yeah,
good
actually
scene.
that king deserved that. I'm like, I'm so glad that he was threatened with like, you were gonna try you for raping people. Are you
Yeah.
nuts? Like, you're gonna step back or
Ah, she's a
else.
servant.
So oh I know.
Yeah.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
horrible. I'm glad he got his comeuppance.
Yeah.
It was a short little
Yeah, for
scene, but
sure.
it was telling about what kind of king Nikolai would be.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like I just like the older feeling YA. And while this wasn't childlike by any means, it just didn't reach exactly what I was hoping for. So I think I'm done with the Grisha verse, but yeah, eh,
Meh.
yeah,
Hard
not bad.
telling. So we got a month or so before it comes. You said it's coming out in January.
Yeah, I think it was at the end of January. I think I saw that it was
And I
coming
know there's more
out.
books in the universe already. The Six of Crows
Yeah,
or
there are a
something like
couple
that.
spin-offs. I have no idea what they're about.
Yeah, they call it the Grisha verse, and it's like a whole bunch of different. I think like the Six of Crows series is a part of this
Yeah,
universe that she did, and I think it may have some. I don't know if it's characters we already know or if it's new characters just set in the same world. I'm not sure,
yeah.
but the Nikolai story is definitely obviously people we know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Is there anything else you guys think we should cover about this book? Anything other hot topics you think we should
I mean,
talk smack about or bless? I don't know.
I'm just going to
there's
reiterate
some
that
plot holes.
the journey of or the quest for the Firebird was really disappointing. Like they had all these landscape obstacles that were sort of set up to be spooky and creepy, and then they didn't mean anything. Like the
Yeah.
trees that were in perfect rows and there were piles of bones, but it didn't mean anything.
Mm,
So
mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was just like, all right, we need them to do something while waiting to get defeated by the
right,
Darkling again.
right, yeah.
So let's put them on this creepy journey that ultimately means nothing.
I guess I would have
Yeah.
liked to see something more interesting when they actually found the Firebird, right? Because they did find it, and
Yeah.
then they
Yeah.
just shoot
They
it away.
did.
Because yeah, I would have liked that scene to be a little bit more something more there. I don't know. So that was the only
Well,
thing I
why
wanted
did it
to.
stop and not attack Mal?
Wasn't that because they like got on their knees, they knelt or something? Something happened, and
He
they weren't
jumped in
chasing it
front of her with his
anymore.
arms open, and it like clawed for him, but then stopped at the last second and then flew away.
Yeah, I don't remember if she
And then
zapped
they're
him with
like, "Oh
some
my
light,
god,
or
you're
I
the
know that
amplifier."
Zoya hit him with some air drafts
Oh,
at
did
some point,
she?
but I don't think it was
Well, she tried to pull it back by doing that, and they were
yeah.
like, "No, no, stop!
Right.
Don't
Okay,
do
let
that."
it go.
Because it's not him. Right.
I just took a quick glance at the Six of Crows summary, and it is all different characters. So in Ketterdam,
Okay.
so I don't see
Mm,
anybody from any of
mm-hmm.
these books. So for whatever that's worth, but yeah, I'm not
Mm,
that
yeah.
interested in diving into that.
Yeah, there are better books out there. I'm
There definitely
sorry.
are.
I'll go read something else.
I mean, honestly, guys, for real, I kind of wish we had agreed to do the Throne of Glass. I am like loving. I'm all over it. I'm drooling all over this
Do
series
we
so
need to
hard. I'm
do we
like,
need to do that next?
oh, it's so good. I don't know if I can reread though. They're long books. Sarah J. Maas writes long
Oh
books,
yeah. Oh yeah.
so like 600 pages, 700 pages, 500 something pages. She goes hard, but those books are
I like the
phenomenal.
short
So,
stories. I haven't picked up the full length, I haven't, the real thing, because we bought we were talking about it.
mhm. Yeah, but I've been reading them. So I think there are 6 books. I just finished the 4th book out of the
Oh, there's
6
6
that
of
just
them.
dropped.
Wow.
That was the
Okay.
end of the series. Yeah, that's why I'm like, it's a long haul,
Yeah.
and they're big books. That's why I'm like, I don't know, especially since I've been reading them, now. I don't know if I can go back and
Yeah, too
reread right
soon. Too
now.
soon.
So,
Too soon.
But you
yeah,
can't start a reread before you
yeah.
finish the
So,
series. That's no good.
yes, true. Exactly. So, there's that. And I did not mean to detract away from the book we're talking about today, but I think that's just what's in the front of my mind, and it's just better than this. So, that's why it's just coming out like that.
No,
Sorry.
no, it's all right.
All right. So, is there anything else, or maybe we should just rate this thing? I mean, we don't have to have an hour conversation on it if we don't have the material for it.
I mean, I can pick apart plot holes if you want, but we can call it quits too.
Nicola, what do you think?
I'm
You think you're
good.
good, or
I'm good. I
yeah,
let's give us one plot hole, Casey, because I know you love you live for this stuff. What's
yeah?
I
Just give
live
us
for
one.
plot holes. The siblings, Toila and Tamara.
yeah?
So at
Yeah.
the end of book 2, it turns out they were working for the Apparat the whole time, and part of the super secret Sun soldiers who think she's a saint and worship her. But that whole plot was never explained at all, ever.
Well, the apparat was a huge like what happened? Nothing happened with him.
Yeah,
I was
nothing
so
happened with him.
I,
So
I was it was such a so weird. Like he just like all those people never became a factor. All the people that were trying to worship her are the supposed soldiers. Like 12 of them went with him, and then he just stayed underground for the whole 3rd book. And then
yeah,
he didn't die. He didn't
yeah,
sacrifice.
no, but
He didn't do
Yeah.
anything. He got pardoned by Nikolai at the end, I think. Maybe.
was he? I know. What's her name was for killing the king or trying to
Jenya
kill the
got a
king.
pardon. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was pardoned. And a job. She got pardoned and a job.
I don't know.
But yeah, the siblings.
So.
They were with Nikolai at the beginning of book 2 on the ship, and that's where they first met Alina and Mal and joined the adventure.
Right.
And they became her bodyguards at the little palace.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden at the end, they're like, oh yeah, we worship you and think you're a saint. We've go out and worship you with the little people.
Well, that came out in book
The
2.
little people. Yeah, that was book 2.
Yeah.
But that was at the very end, so I assumed she would explain it in book 3. But she never did. They're just like, oh yeah, we follow the Apparat. We let him find you and talk to you because we believe everything he says. But now that we've been underground for 3 months, we're gonna follow you and Mal and break you out of here and run away from him. And it was this doesn't make any sense. None of this.
Yeah, what would change their opinion about what they were doing before?
What changed their opinion about Alina to make them believe
I didn't think it didn't strike me as a plot hole because I didn't think that it did change. I think they still thought she was a saint.
But when did they believe she was a saint? What happened?
Right.
How did the Apparat get to them? They were at the little palace guarding
I thought
her.
it was maybe before.
Yeah, because that was
it before they went on the ship? I can't remember.
Maybe it was the whole time they were thinking about her as a saint the whole entire time, possibly.
Maybe, but I thought they'd been with Nikolai for a while. They were all really close at the beginning of book 2, so I assumed that they'd been together for a while. Again, not very clearly explained.
But if we kind of take some assumptions here and let's just say that they already thought that she was a goddess or whatever,
a saint.
Then what a saint, yes. So what changed their minds as far as following the Apparat, what he wanted them to do? Why did he say, okay, well, the two of them together, well, let's just let them escape, let's help them escape, versus doing what he wanted? He was the one guiding them, even though they believed in her as the saint.
They just said, oh yeah, we follow you. We trust you, we worship you, we follow you, even though we was following him in book 2, now we're following you.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's silly.
the apparat was weird, right? So I think she was scared of him in
Mm-hmm.
book one, didn't trust him throughout book one and most of book two. But at the end of book two, he rescued her, right? So she would have probably died if he hadn't taken her down into
Kind of.
helped her escape, and kept her safe. And um, for whatever his faults are, he thought she was a saint, and I think that the apparat believed she was a saint. Um, and I think that
I don't think he did.
Mm-mm.
And that was a part. She asked him, "Do you really think I'm a saint?" And
he
he
said
really didn't
it
answer
didn't
that all the
matter,
way.
I think. But
Right.
so he may have just been wanting to use her, but he wasn't he wasn't trying to hurt her, right? And he did keep her safe. So I think that was kind of why the Tolia and Tamar issue to me wasn't too much of a problem, because they didn't have ill intent toward her. And I think that
No, I just wanted an
yeah,
explanation because it was just so, again, like with this ending, it was just like, oh, well, Mal is the amplifier. All right, we're going to stab him in the heart and kill him, but then we're going to bring him back to life. And that's that. It's just kind of like, oh, yeah, they're working for the apparat and think you're a saint and nothing else has changed except everything has changed, but we're not going to explain it. So that's that.
Yeah, I thought I would agree. Just think that the apparat, the whole plot line about him just went nowhere. That was weird.
Yeah,
that's not even a plot hole. That's like
weird.
I don't even know.
I think it would have been easier to digest that section had, like, for example, after he rescued her, got her back to good health and said, okay, now what's next for you, kind of thing, instead of trying to kind of hold her there. And that was kind of,
we never got a
things I
motive
think
for
kind of
him.
got a little murky. If his intent was to, right, exactly.
So we never had a little, like, what was his end game?
Yeah.
And we still don't know, because he's around, and I don't know, maybe it'll come out in Nikolai's book or something, but she's not I liked that they've kind of faked her death. I thought that was smart.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. I mean, that was really... I thought about why she didn't want to go and teach everybody, because at the beginning of the second book, she was all adamant about, like, oh, we have to save everybody. Yeah. I have to help everybody, all the students. And then once everybody got her powers, questioned why she didn't want to go teach them and help them.
That was a passing thing. Like, they had that moment where they were able to help in the fight, but I didn't get the sense that the rest of the world got to keep that spark that they got from her.
Oh, yeah, no. Somewhere, I think when she was talking to Nikolai, he asked if she would come teach everybody at the end. They definitely asked her to teach, and she said no. Because they still have the powers.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to teach. I mean, it would come out who you are somehow, some way. It would come out. And wouldn't that just, kind of just negate everything you're trying to do by faking your death, kind of thing?
Yeah, no, I thought, like, not faking her death at all and just stay and help and teach and be what the opposite of the Darkling, who hoarded his power. Oh. Like, if Mal had died and she didn't have anything left, she could have gone and taught the next generation before going off and being a crazy old cat lady or something.
Who walks around with no shoes on and paints.
Yeah, she paints the ceilings.
Yeah. No, I guess I missed that, or it didn't occur to me as an issue. But I did close the book going, the apparat should have had an actual ending in this, something. He should have done something. He was such a big piece of the first two books, and then nothing in the third.
And kind of the beginning of this book.
Yeah, but it was still like a lead up to a story, not the story. That would be my vote for worst plot hole.
True. Yeah. We should start doing that worst plot hole section.
I love it. Please, let's do that. Please.
Okay. We'll do it going forward. Book. Guys, expect it next week, next month too. Worst plot hole. Yeah.
Yay!
Okay, so you guys ready to go ahead and rate
Yes.
this?
I think we're ready to wrap. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, let me start. I'll actually start for once. I actually am ready to do it. Okay, so I rated this 3 out of 5. I was kind of on the cusp of possibly a 4, but I just didn't because it was just too slow of a start for me. And I just didn't feel vested. I feel like I wanted to be more excited about the ending than I was. And I just feel like the climax should be the third book, and I don't think it was. So 3. Nicola, what about you?
Yeah, I was pretty squarely on a 3, also for kind of the same reasons. It was slow. I really didn't like that they stabbed Mal, and
then brought him back to
and
life.
The apparat thing was a huge hole. I'd like the Nikolai plotline was the best part of it, honestly, and I did kind of like how they resolved the idea that Alina was going to be this supernatural, long-lived creature that could never find happiness with a mortal. I did kind of like that she lost her powers, kind of. So I like the way they tied that up. I keep saying they, I mean the author. I like how that was tied up. But overall, I didn't feel like it was a great book, frankly.
Yeah. Casey, what do you think?
Same. 3 stars. It was very lackluster for a final book. The whole Ruin and Rising title, it's 90% Ruin, 10% Rising.
I know.
Yeah.
There wasn't much rising at all.
Much rising at all. And yeah, everything you guys said, it was weak. They killed Mal and then brought him back to life. And I don't know, plot holes galore and just boring.
Yeah. Which is so sad. I mean, it was the second book, things were like really revving up. In the end there, I was like, oh yeah. Okay, what could this be?
I was so excited over the second book. Kind of sad I didn't get to talk to you. I didn't want to like hack in your lungs or hack my lungs out in your ears the entire time. But the second book was good.
We missed you. We didn't talk about plot holes in the second book. We missed you.
Sure didn't. That's your job, Casey. Plot holes. Yes.
I'm so excited.
I still don't understand why the apparat kept her underground for she was so sickly, and I don't know.
Because he wanted to keep her.
I'm over it now.
And something, and no motivations were explicitly told. Something.
You know, this is just like one of those situations like when someone ghosts you and you don't know why. We're just not going to know why, ever.
The apparat totally ghosted us. What the hell?
Yes.
Underground. Could have at least called once. Text, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not working out. My dog died and I can't manage it. I just can't.
Yeah, something.
That's hilarious.
It's
a great analogy.
I love it.
The characters that ghosted.
Awesome. Yay. Okay. All right. So, guys, we don't know what we're going to do next month at this point in time. So you're not going to hear it right now, but you're going to hear it in a separate, probably little 2-minute blurb, or you'll see us announce it online or something. So yeah, you'll see it. Yeah, follow the hashtag 3bloggers 1 series, and you might likely see it before this episode comes out. So yeah, there's that.
Timelines.
You might already know, but we don't.
Exactly. So you've got the one up on us as far as how the timeline is working. So there's that. Yeah. All right, guys. So it's been a pleasure. Thanks for joining me, ladies, as always.
Thank you. It was fun.
And we will see you guys next month. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
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 If you enjoyed today's book chat episode and would like to show your support, there are a few things you can do. Head on over to Apple Podcast and leave a positive 5-star review. You can follow me on Twitter at Shelf Addiction. Most importantly, you can share this podcast with friends and family that enjoy all things bookish, including author interviews. Thank you for listening, and until next time, happy reading.